What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 live listings. Today, we are going to do 7 reviews on 7 different stores. Pretty excited about this one. These are paid reviews, so if you guys are interested, you can go ahead and buy them on eBay. The link is in the description, but let's get into it. The first one is Vera's Place. So this store is very cool. Looks a little bit like an outlet model because I see a lot of the items are brand new. Kate Spade, Michael Kors, stuff like that. So it looks like this is one of those stores that does. This is one of the stores that shops. This is one of the sellers that goes to the outlet to find goods for the most part. And I noticed a couple of things looking at this store. The first thing that I would do to improve is I would make the pictures just a little bit more crisp and clean. And what I mean by that is, like, if you look at the shoe pictures, I like that you're including the box because a lot of shoe sellers box, and a lot of people who collect shoes want the box. So it's great that you have it in there. But I think that if you can just make a little bit of an adjustment so the photos are square, I think it would look a little bit better. That being said, your pictures are very bright, which is what I think is the number one most important part, is having pictures that are bright, because that way your customers can fully see what the item is. I think you can remove stuff like pristine condition, all caps, because that doesn't rank at all. Let's see, scrolling through here, I've noticed that sometimes your shipping is a little bit wonky. Like here it says 1761 for shipping on this leather jacket, which seems a little bit pricey, because I think you are in the States. There are some items that are free shipping, some that are relatively expensive, like 48 bucks, and some that are 10. So it varies. I think it might be a calculated priority shipping or something that causes that. But like on this Michael Kors purse, we're looking at $59 shipping. That's more than the cost of the purse. So that's a little bit high. So maybe adjust your shipping a little bit, make your pictures a little bit more crisp, and show the entire item. I don't think you necessarily need white background. I noticed on some of your pictures you do have the full white background, but not entirely necessary. You have 297 items for sale, and looks like you sell about 15 to 20 each month, depending on if there's some replenishables or not. So I think for you to get to the next level, you definitely need more stuff in your store. And my recommendation, if you're going to sell at the outlet, is to sell really expensive stuff, because the margins are generally smaller. So for my outlet purchase, I would say that the minimum I spend really is $60. I like to buy that $200 stuff for 60. Try to sell for 150 range. Just about, it looks like you've done a couple of those with handbags. Somebody put me on the spot a couple of days ago and asked me if I could only sell one category with the purpose of making the most money. What would it be? Not what I like, just what's the most profitable. And I said handbags. So I'm glad that you're in this game, because it's important. I would say right now, the thing that's holding you back the most is that your store is random. You sell a lot of different types of items, and that prevents you from getting really good at a specific item. So you're actually pretty close. You sell a lot of jeans, tops, bags, a lot of women's stuff. I think if you really focused, and let's say, for example, you wanted to focus on jeans, it takes, according to Prof Sales and I, about 1,500, 2,000 pairs of jeans to make a significant income, because jeans sell-through rate's a little bit slower than other categories. So you need a lot of jeans to really make money. But if you were to focus as that of one of your categories, I always recommend you have 3 categories that you focus on at least. And you're going to need to try to get into the higher range, especially with retail arbitrage when stuff is pretty expensive. Shazad in the chat does really well with this same model. So maybe you can connect with him on Instagram. Let's see. But it's definitely easier to level up if you focus on one thing. Right now, I would say that the biggest thing preventing you from getting to the next level is that you sell in too many categories for how small of a store you are. Also, I recommend, if you're going to do the outlet game, a lot of people are able to do it successfully by keeping their day job. So you don't need to switch you don't need to necessarily quit your day job because the sell through rate is really slow. So it's not like you are furiously selling 50 to 100 packages a day, not for a while. You got to build up that inventory. So I would definitely increase the size of your store, max out a premium store at 600 to 1,000 items if you're going to be in this category. Email me if you have any more questions, 10konthebay at gmail.com. Let's go to Vintage Thrift Goat. What's up, Ryan? Um, this store is awesome. So I'll tell you right now, um, normally I don't like thrift in the name, but if you're the thrift goat, if you're the greatest of all time, then I got to see what you have. Looking in here, I see a bunch of different categories. You have jerseys, shirts, hats, toys. Looks like I could be wrong, but looks like you're in the 200 package, maybe a little more than that, 200 to 300 range of items sold per month. And you're saying that you want to get to the next level of, actually, it could be more than that. Let's look at your feedback again. It's showing a 769. So that's like 250 items per month that are selling, and you want to get the triple that. So that's like 750. So in theory, you could just triple the size of your store and achieve that because your sell through rate's pretty good. It's about 15% sell through rate on the 2,000 items, in that range, 12 to 15%. So for you, it's going to be 100% based on efficiency. How much stuff can you list quickly? How fast can you source? How dedicated is your route? And I would want to see all these categories grow: shirts, jerseys, hats, toys. Obviously, I have a podcast with Tech and Sports. He has a very similar store. You guys have the Some Dude's House look, which is fantastic in my opinion because it gives people the idea that it's authentic. You have it in your house. It's every picture is consistent, so you're saving time there. I love it. I've never actually seen someone do it on a glass table like this. I like it actually because it gives you um, definitely the feel that you care for the item, instead of it being on the floor. So that is interesting the way that you've handled this. You have some really premium items. um, so for me, I think that what we need to talk about is efficiency and improving your processes so you can get triple the amount of stuff up. I don't see anything necessarily wrong with your listings other than I think square photos convert better because you can see more of the item. So you can just see the two white stripes on the side. But again, I don't know if you're using a camera, but these photos are in focus. Um, all the graphics. Let's see. It looks just fine to me. If we scroll down here, you do a lot of free shipping. That's nice of you on a $4,000 jersey. Let's see. Do you have measurements? Let's take a look here. Some of these items you have measurements, I believe. Maybe you don't take measurements. Let's see. You got a lot of vintage. Size 32, certificate of authenticity. So you have some graded stuff, which is awesome. Let me just see if there's any measurements on any of this stuff. I don't see it in your listing. Yeah, I don't see any measurements. That might be something you want to add, the reduce questions. I'm sure you get questions on measurements, especially for vintage items. But it just depends on your buyer. Maybe for vintage, you don't get as many questions on sizing. But it looks like you're doing a fantastic job. My guess for you really is just maximizing space and time, and potentially getting a helper if you want. But the type of store that you have, a 15% sell through rate, it's not so crazy that you really need an assistant per se, because you're at, 10 packages a day, around that. So 30 packages a day, you might need some help. But I think the biggest thing is going to be maybe adding in another category like shoes, but making sure that the shirts, jerseys, hats, toys, those categories remain the same when you add another one. That's going to help you build momentum. Also, your store doesn't have very many replenishables, so we can work together on that to start getting some stuff that you think may sell. As an example, maybe if you throw in some size 4XL um, regular jerseys, I think you might be able to get people who want to get some stuff that they normally hoop in for gifts. I don't know. It depends, because I think that what you're selling right now makes really good gifts for collectors. So maybe these people actually play ball and they're looking for stuff that's oversized. I know for me, I'm going to start private labeling plus sized athletic wear because I feel like they're going to be using it, and 4X anything sells really well. Let's go to the next one. which is NW Equipment. I haven't reviewed an auto parts store yet. So this has, I was looking at your sell through rate. So 93 out of 563. So maybe 30 items a month. That's like 6 or 7% sell through rate, which is relatively slow, but your average sale price is very, very high. So you're definitely selling stuff that's relatively expensive. Um, my recommendation is the one auto part company that I did review was doing drop shipping for auto glass. So they were listing the auto glass of every single car, and then they were having it shipped locally from that state to save on shipping. So that's interesting because most areas have a glass warehouse that stores glass for that area, and the installation people go and pick it up and then go install it. Um, this is something I wonder if you could do with auto glass or sunroofs, because that's still glass as well, and just drop ship it on eBay. I wonder how competitive it is to do stuff like that. The thing I think was holding you back in this store is just the sheer variety of the things that you sell. You have axle assemblies, you have bell housing, you have all kinds of stuff in your store. And I feel like that's definitely going to slow you down as far as storage. But again, it depends on how you run your store and where you're getting your parts. So maybe email me and let me know how you source your parts to give me a better idea of making that more efficient. But if I was going to sell car parts, I really would niche down. I would sell stuff like window actuators or specific diesel parts. Maybe you are niching down already, but I feel like you just get into a flow with speed when you start selling the same thing over and over again. Your storage becomes uniform, your packaging becomes uniform, because some of these things ship freight, which is great because I think that prevents a lot of people from competing with you. But then again, it's also bulky to store, so um, I don't know how much space you have, but definitely email me to let me know exactly what your goals are so I can send you some more specific niche advice to improve your store. Right now, I can just see what's preventing you from getting larger is just how difficult it is to list shirts, car parts, different things in your store. It's such a random mix. And each time you switch contexts, it's going to slow you down big time. Here you have stuff that you probably got for free or really, really cheap from the same sources, the auto parts. Um, let me look at the listing really quick. Love the photos. Great description. You talk about the pilling, which is great. You're in Montana. Awesome. So there's a lot of equipment out there. I know a really, really hot category is farm equipment. Let's see. You actually can't put your phone number in the listing. So be careful on that because eBay can remove your listing because you can't have your contact information in your listing. So be careful there. Um, Also, your name is Greg. So what's going on, Greg? Let's take a look and see some other listings. I wonder if you include, yeah, how are you able to put your phone number in there? That's totally normally a violation of eBay policy because then you can do the sale outside of eBay, which maybe you are doing, but I don't know if that's something that is normal. Wow, you are selling some farm equipment. This makes me happy because this category was on fire in Terra Peak. Um, hmm. So I wonder with this game, if you can get it from local auctions, if you can actually sell their items for them. Um, because I have heard that auctions sometimes sell this stuff for dirt cheap. And if you can get a relationship going with a local auction house, maybe you can sell it before it hits the auction. Because I feel like these types of items in a local auction, they basically give them away. There's not a big enough market to really move these. Maybe there is in Montana, but that makes me wonder. I mean, 13 grand for one forklift. That's pretty awesome. Who knows what that actually cost? I love your store. This is like a true picker store. Photos are fine. Do recommend going for the full square because you can get more of the item in there, and you can make use of that space. Using good condition freight. Call or email for a shipping rate. See, I think you have to remove that. I don't know though. Have you ever had it? Let me know if you've had any complaints from eBay because literally you can be suspended for that. Um, if you just respond with your phone number, you can be suspended for 7 to 30 days. So let me know on that. Your sell-through rate's a little bit low at 30 items for 563. So if I knew exactly what type of goal that you're trying to go for, we can adjust it accordingly. And again, I think you would move faster if you were specializing on a specific category, unless you're just getting stuff from junkyards or something. But let me know so I can give you some more pertinent advice. Um, Let's go to the next one. I have not reviewed a candy store before, so I'm pretty excited about this one. 481 listings. Now, earlier there was 483 listings. Looks like they sold a couple of items. This is pretty cool because if you look at this, it looks like all replenishables. All 132 sold. This store is in Australia. Fantastic way to do it. Could be drop shipping because I looked at your feedback and there are a couple of questionable, potentially you didn't ship on time or something like that, so that's usually means you're drop shipping, but power to you because your items are selling. um you're in Australia for sure, that's why the shipping is cost is so high. Let's see here. Photos look great because they're stock photos for the most part. Your description looks fantastic. I like this little HTML setup here. About us, um, homeware, small kitchen appliances, bank deposit. Do you really accept money order and PayPal? Is that more of a an Australian thing? Because I don't feel a lot of people in the States offer money orders as an option. Shipping is great. Yeah, your listing looks fine to me. So you said that your goal is to do $30,000 gross. And sounds like you're doing about 10 right now because you want to triple that what you're at to 1,500 listings from 483. So for you, I think definitely it's about variety. I don't know if you could bundle more than one candy together as a gift set. Um, Maybe that would work though, because I don't see a lot of people bundling different kinds of candy. You have here 72 lifesavers. Or what if you did um, lifesavers and gummy worms and you made like a variety pack? I feel like that would be really good. A candy variety pack. I wonder if that's considered keyword spamming if you have 5 popular candies in one pack and you use all 5 of the words. I feel like that's a great way to hack the ranking system, because you're going to move up each time one of those packages is sold. So that's exciting. I recommend gift sets. I recommend bundles. Um, of different candies. I recommend, why not do 36 lifesavers? Maybe it fits in a specific container for shipping, but let me know on that because you want to maximize. I think in Australia there's either 1 pound or 6 pounds, so you may want to max out the container for that 6 pound flat rate, and that might give you a competitive advantage for candy. But I think that you're already doing that based on your sales, and it sounds like you're like this beetle chocolate candy. Wow, very, very cool. These look like stock photos. Birdie beetle candy. Interesting. Oh, money order is an Australian payment method. Very cool. So yeah, as far as looking at this store, I think for you to get to the next level is going to be about time management. So I recommend writing down how long it takes you to do every single process. I've been doing that religiously right now, trying to figure out how long every single process takes, and you're going to have to experiment with certain items to find ones that sell. So as an example, there's somebody in my store or in my Patreon mastermind group that wants to do replenishables at $5 profit, but he wants to be able to reorder them and he wants to make $300 a day. So we're trying to get 66 of those to sell every day. That's the goal. So with that in mind, we're planning for him to test 200 products to hopefully find 66 that fit the model. So I think if you have that outline, okay, because you want to go to 1,500 listings and maintain the same sell-through rate. So maybe the ratio of home runs versus ones that don't do well. You would need to figure that out, map it out over the next year. If we want to have this conversation in 12 months and you're at 1,500 listings, I also would recommend maybe you try a complementing category like toys, which I see you have some, but maybe stuff more catered towards kids, maybe backpacks, school supplies, because I think that may match. And then I don't know if in Australia, oh, you take these photos, fantastic. I don't know if in Australia you can do a combined discount, so buy two get 5% off or something, but you can do that in promotions in the US. And I think that's going to help you because people will scroll down, and in this area, it will offer you and it'll offer you a discount if you buy more than one item, and that should increase your average sale price. But your average sale price is already very high, so kudos to you. This looks really good. Um, Let me know if which part of your listing process is slow via email at 10konthebay@gmail.com, and so we can help you. You're not going to get more hours in the day. You're just going to have to be triple as efficient. Okay, let's go to the next store. The next store is Second Look Thrift, and thanks for shooting me an email and hoping for a review. You want to make $10,000 per month. I assume this is gross. So on 10,000, hopefully you're making at least 3,000 of the 10,000, depending on where you buy. If you're buying for $1, selling for 12 ships, sometimes you can turn on 10,000 in sales, you can do 5,000 profit. So from my experience, to get $10,000 a month with the items that you're selling for the most part that are about $20, you need $50,000 listed. So I would be surprised if this store was more than, let's search from high to low here. 104. So yeah, most of your items are under $40 with the exception of one or two. So and a lot of your items are around 10. So I would just be conservative and say it's about $20 per item. That's about 4 to 5,000 listed. So 4 to 5,000 listed, you're not making anywhere near the 10,000 per month that you wanted to get to. It's going to require 2,500 of these items to reach that goal. Unless you do auctions or you really try to sell stuff super, super cheap. If you're selling it for normal market rates, it's going to take 2,500 items. And I've tried it, and I have that in my store. So if I'm looking at the thrifted items that I get, or closeout finds for clothing, the sell-through rate's not great, and the profit is also very low. 80% of clothing is under $20, so you're competing in that market. You're going to need 2,500 of those. So make sure you have the right space. And right now, your sell-through rate is about 30 out of 222. That's about 12%, 15% range, which is a little bit under where I think you could be, which is maybe 20%. But it's not a lot more than, you can't really get above 20% because I believe eBay throttles your traffic. I don't think that, you're only going to get so much traffic for this kind of stuff. They're going to spread it around, like this Exhilaration Top, Michael Kors, Avenue. These are all, at least they're plus size, which is fantastic. Your photos are good. Going for the square route. I like it. I love the consistency of your store. This looks like a store. So if you guys are selling clothing, try to make it look like a store and not look like your house, in my opinion. Unless you're the vintage thrift goat, because then you want to look like you found the treasure hunting somewhere. But for the most part, these photos are fantastic. I like it. Clearly shows the entire item. Can't complain there. I was just saying you need to add in some different stuff that has a higher average sale price, like handbags or shoes or dresses, stuff that's like above $60. You've got this lower end spectrum taken care of. But just to let you know, if you want to only sell this kind of stuff, you need 2,500 items to get there, which is extremely challenging to get to that number of listings. But that will allow you to do whatever you want. Because if you're making $10,000 per month revenue, usually you can get by on the $3,000 to $4,000 profit while you figure out either a higher average sale price or you grow that store to, some people in my group, to like 7,500 listings. Then you're making six figures. You're netting 10,000 per month, which is totally different. So if you net $10,000 a month, you should be able to plan your life accordingly, live how you want in most parts of the country. Because with the right efficiencies, you'll be able to take some time off and maybe hire a helper. Okay, let's go to the next one. I think this is Jeff. You are at 241 live listings and 186. So you have an excellent sell-through rate, my friend. One of the highest I've reviewed today. You're almost at you'd say you're at 20% of your items sell each month, which is not bad. You're trying to get to $2,000 per month. I'm not sure if that's $2,000 a month net or $2,000 a month gross, but I'll give you the math on both. If you want to do $2,000 a month gross, you would need roughly $10,000 listed if you're going to go with the conservative clothing thrifted finds of selling 20% of your items per month. So if you are at 2,000 listed and you sell 20%, that's 400 items. 400 items at $5 profit minimum. Now you're looking at $2,000 net. So it just depends on what you make per item. Your average sale price is pretty good. You have some shoes mixed in here. You have some hard goods. You have some suits and blazers, which is great. Boost the sale price. I am seriously considering going harder on jeans, and by harder I mean like 4, 5, 6,000 pairs, because the sell-through rate is so slow, but it's relatively predictable. So you're going to sell jeans every single month if you have them listed, no matter what. So it's going to be distributed just like everything I was talking about earlier. So the more listings you have, the better the chance. But again, jeans are not one of those types of items that you can discount and then they suddenly move fast. That's just not the case. There's only a certain amount of market for this kind of stuff. Dresses, shoes. I like these photos a lot. Very consistent, bright, non-distracting background. These must be Brooks. These look like ghosts. Let's see here. They are ghosts. So Ghost 7s. I have some Ghost 4s in my store. Pre-owned and previously worn. Good descriptions. Jazzy's bargain outlet. I definitely would remove bargain outlet because that sounds very cheap. It sounds like a backdoor warehouse deal. Not necessarily bad though, because bargain does mean a good deal. But it's kind of interesting how. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like bargain outlet. It sounds a little bit cheap to me. Let's see here. 99.5%. So you're doing a great job. You got a nice mix of items, but again, let me look at the high to low. 74. So Coochie style Cosby sweater. I like that. Looks like you understand your keywords. You're selling some Nintendos. This is like garage sale stuff. It's really good. These penny twos are awesome. And then, okay, the suit game. I want to talk about the suit game. So I'm pretty good friends with Luke, Endless Entrepreneurs, and we had a show together, but he's getting married and he's going to be busy. So we're going to wait for that to settle down before we start our show again. But he sells a lot of suits, and we talk about this all the time. I have about 400, 500 suits that are unlisted because I don't like listing suits, but I'm just building them up because they're cheap where I live. That being said, I was asking Luke, how many suits would I need to make 6 figures? And he said 1,500. So if I had 1,500 suits, I could sell 6 to 10 a day and make $300 a day, which is the goal for me whenever I start a new concept. I want to make $300 a day. So I advocate in my mastermind group that you pick 3 categories and try to make $100 a day. And that's your $300 a day, 6-figure income. But with suits, it's just one of those things. I mean, these suits are a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s new, and they're free at the gifts at out at the thrift stores. They're like under $25 for things that were $200 to $2,000 at the retail store. So there's a ton of margin in men's suits. I personally don't like listing them because they take forever. I do 10 measurements when I list suits, and I just don't even want to use my mannequin, but I need to get into it because the market is there. You just need to be patient enough to get the 500 or 600 suits, so you can make at least $100 a day net. But talk to me about that a little bit. You shouldn't be nervous about reaching out to me with any questions. Always email me at 10konthebay@gmail.com. I'm a little bit slow because I'm backlogged on these paid reviews, but I will respond to anybody who asks me a question. It's just going to take some time. Okay. And the more specific your question, the easier it is for me to answer. Let's go to Thrift Hunter. This store I had a little bit of trouble with, to be honest, because it's really good. So we have 954 items with a 623 sell-through rate, which is fantastic. That's a little bit over 20%, which I think is pretty much the top of the top of these categories, unless you give away your items. And one of the reasons for the success is consistent photos. You can see the whole item. I don't mind this striped background, even though some people would say it's distracting, because it's consistent. I see it in, uh, most of the photos. I like being able to see the negative space around the item. For me personally, I like flat lay better because I can understand what the item looks like. I would say that you can get a more premium look if the lighting is even across, but that's not preventing you from selling it. That's just me being nitpicky because I like how smooth it looks when it's on a flat lay and the color is flat. That's why I think it's super important for some people to maybe shoot outside on a premium item like that, just so people can see the true color. Let's take a look at your pictures. Close up of the detail, pockets, materials, cuffs, buttons. I think it's ample description. So just the bare necessities, and then you have an item number in here. I would use the custom SKU. I don't know if they have that in the UK, but having let's see, having your item number in here is just fine. I don't know how the mobile app works for you, but for me, I now use the custom SKU. I use the actual eBay.com desktop website on my phone. I no longer use eBay mobile at all because it's a waste of time compared to the computer. Computer is way better, so I always aim to use the computer if I can. Let's see, let's go back and take a look here. Yeah, it's difficult because you're already pretty much at the max capacity of a used clothing store. I've seen very, very few stores that get above 20% ever, unless they give away their items, which you don't, which is great because you want to hold that margin. For you to get to the next level, I think is definitely speed. So we're looking at 954 items, 117. So that's maybe around 10 items a day sold, maybe eight to 10 items sold per day. Based on feedback. Let's look at your feedback left for others. 2,155 feedback. So veteran, great job. I would just say getting to the next level is just size. There are three things I think that you're doing. I mean, what you're doing that's really good is you're focused. I can see that there's a lot of women's clothing in here, a lot of tops, a lot of bottoms, a lot of dresses, a lot of skirts, jackets. Very consistent, clean titles. I love putting the new in the front because sometimes the titles are truncated and you can't see the full title. So if you put new in the front, I would almost say put new and the dollar sign amount, the dollar amount in the front, but then people are always saying that the first four words are the most important, and you don't want to mess with that algorithm. But you're one of the exceptions to the rule. You put gorgeous as the second word. Here you have vintage as the first word. You have new as the first word. And you seem to do just fine. You also have all caps sometimes, and in theory, those don't get sent to Google search at night because the algorithm kicks them out. But I don't necessarily think that is the case because if you go and look on Google, I have seen eBay listings pop up that are in all caps. Let's see, SKU in the UK is in active listings. There's a clickable customize. That's cool. So I'm glad that in the UK you can see the custom SKU in the active listings. For us in the States, you can't see it on mobile. You can only see it on the desktop website. And that's why I do that on, that's why I list 100% on the computer now, because it has the full functionality of all the tools. And I don't have that. But if you can see also Scott Burrows is saying that all caps, he didn't know that all caps maybe isn't sent to Google. Even though that's the case, there's probably 20 to 30% of all large sellers put the brand in all caps, even though eBay tells you not to do that. So they explicitly say don't do that. And it doesn't seem to matter because it's still showing up and ranking inside of eBay. And most people shop inside of eBay. They're not Google searching Ted Baker. They're doing that inside of eBay. So I don't see a huge distraction there. Here, I would say that 16 inches. I would experiment a little bit with the titles here because here you have super cool 100% genuine, right? Most people would say that's a complete waste of space, but you're doing really well. So I would say you could just do Ralph Lauren custom fit shaped long sleeve. You could add other words like dress shirt. You could add words like career. You could add collar. And if you use the growth tab in your My eBay, you're going to be able to see which terms rank the highest. And I know for sure collared and dress are two heavily searched terms. So I would rather have dress and collar instead of super cool in this specific title. I think that would help you a lot. And this is just more of the fluff. And then there are no large sellers that use fluff. But then again, most large sellers use a lister. And there's some art to putting in awesome, excellent, mint, pristine in the title. Even though it doesn't help your search ranking, it definitely affects your buyer's psychology because what are you more likely to buy? A mint Ralph Lauren shirt or just a Ralph Lauren shirt? If they're the same and they both show up in ranking, I want to check out the mint one. Let's see here. Zara, tassels. This is all good stuff. Women's clothes. I like how you're just focused on a specific niche. And okay, branching out from this, I don't know if you're netting six figures right now. I don't think so. If you have a $30 average sale price and 300, you're doing about 10 grand a month in sales. It looks like it could be a little bit higher or lower, but getting to the 30 grand a month in sales is what I am coaching in my mastermind call. And what that means is you want to net $100 in 3 different categories. So you've got the tops down, the dresses. So what I would do is make sure you keep the same ratio of tops, bottoms, dresses, etc. in your store and add stuff like shoes or handbags. Those are the 2, in my opinion, easiest way to build your ASP. Handbags, shoes, and then potentially more bathing suits. So hopefully that's useful, guys. I appreciate it. Let me see here in the chat. I just wanted to answer. Tracy said that you emailed me about requesting a review from the store. I have about 250 free reviews in the queue. So it's going to take me a while to get to those. It's just taking me a long time. Sorry, there's been a lot of demand. That's why I started charging because it's just taking up too much of my time to do this. But I do like to help. And plus it gives me ideas for my own store. So I appreciate your time. If you guys have any questions, please email me at 10konthebay@gmail.com, or you can request a review, or you can join my mastermind crew. I'm just also putting it out there. You guys can join for free. I'm offering another, I'm offering for people to try it next month. Next week to see if they like the group. And if you like it, then you can sign up for, you can sign up for January. So how the Patreon works is it is a membership site. So I have 100 people in my Patreon that meet once a week with the same 6 to 10 people, and you talk about your goal. So I want to help people make $10,000 a month pre-tax. That's the goal. You can't be in the group if you have ambition less than that. Like, not that I have anything against people that want to make less than that. I just only want to have that group be people with the same focus. So it's easier for us to make the materials and courses to help people get to that level. And the basic strategy is pretty simple. 3 items that make $100 profit per day. 3 categories. So that's $300 a day. eBay doesn't sleep. That's 365 days of $300 profit. That's the purpose of the group. Meet with the same people every week and get closer to that goal. If you don't get closer to the goal, I'll give you your money back. Simple as that. So make improvement, or you probably shouldn't be in the group because you don't want to be the person that shows up each week and doesn't get better. So appreciate your time, guys. Everyone have a great day. Have a great holiday, and talk to you later.